Hello, it's the BP Hero, and we're podcasting. Season 6, episode 40 freaking 1. There's more episodes in this one season than I've done like podcasts altogether. That's just insanity. Can you believe it? Because I can't believe it. Absolute madness, I say. Absolute madness. But hey, listen, enough of that. How's everybody doing tonight? I know I've got 2 viewers already. You know the deal. We'll let you guys pile in here, hang out before we get this thing started. I'm actually thinking, I will repeat, I know I'm going to be repetitive, but I want to kind of make sure this is what everybody's kind of feeling before I do it. And if you're not, it's completely fine, but I'm going to repeat myself a handful of times here, just as we're getting started. I'm working on putting the finishing touches on a video. What are you guys feeling? Do you want to like chill out and watch me edit the end of this video that we can all watch the video together? Or do you want to just like chill out and podcast, drop some comments in the comment section like drop some topics in the comment section like usual? What are you thinking? All 2 of you watching so far. I'm going to put up let's see. Put up a poll. Boom. Okay, poll is up. Leave that up for a few minutes. I know everybody's kind of still filing in here, so we'll see what's going on. I mean, I can have the video done right after the podcast, but I know sometimes this stuff interests you guys as far as like the editing side of things goes, so I figured, what the hell. We'll see what the gang wants to do. I know for the ones that kind of show up and listen, it's not going to be much for you, but for the ones that are interested in the editing side of things, or just wanting to like see, I guess what you might call behind the scenes, potentially this could be for you, right? Am I right? Is my microphone working? Is everything sounding okay? Nobody has said a word in the chat, and that's kind of alarming. What's up, Adam? How you doing, man? That guy BP in the house. What all reviews you got coming down the pipe, my man? I know we talked a while back and you said you had a bunch of footage backed up. I'm still in that same boat myself. I'm getting ready to post the Anderson Wraith. Scott Bailey was nice enough to send that out to me so I could check it out. I was just putting the finishing touches on that video, and I was hoping to get it done before the podcast started so we could just kind of like chill out and watch the video to start the podcast, but you know, you can't have it all, right? Ooh, the new 240 axe. Now that is interesting. Like, it's new, it's different. Let's try it out, you know? I'm here for that. Absolutely here for that. So let's see. looking like we're just going to do our normal good old podcast here, so I'm going to get a handful of things ready here while we're sitting here chilling. Interesting. Just got a very controversial topic sent to me via a friend. Yeah, Adam, the Wraith is good. Sorry, I'm getting some stuff ready here. So the Anderson Wraith is good. I think you would really, really enjoy it, being more of like the basic kind of guy. You just can't mess with it. Like, it's got a 14-inch barrel on it, and dude, it feels like a 20-inch barrel. It doesn't swing weird or anything like that. It's super forgiving. Like, you know, most of the 240s have been like kind of stiff, and you kind of like earn your hits with them, I like to say. But dude, I mean, I know I said it in a video a while back, but like I almost mean it more with this one. You could spin it around, put the barrel in your hands, and still find a way to hit the sweet spot. But the kicker is with this one is it feels like it just doesn't perform. And I don't know, that's I wouldn't say lame. I mean, not everybody's expecting every bat to be, you know, the hottest thing ever. But for how good it swings, how smooth it swings, and how good the barrel feedback is, it is a little disappointing to know it doesn't perform better, because you could really be onto something there if you could tap into some more performance with it. Yeah, it is kind of a bummer, but I guess it is what it is. You know, that's why there's all kinds of different bats out there for everybody. This could be the perfect bat for somebody that's into that kind of thing, you know? But one thing, I'm just going to kind of go off on a tangent of my own here real quick, and then we're going to get into the softball topics. But first things first, I want to talk about two different things. I want to talk about what the hell is wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me. Now, understand me when I say that I'm not a Chiefs fan, and maybe this does make me a Chiefs fan, I just don't want to admit it. But I watch a lot of their games. I watch almost every one of their games. For two reasons. One, Patrick Mahomes has been, in times past, one of the most entertaining people to watch play football. The guy can just make, like, their backyard football, like their backyard style football that they've played for the last 2-3 years has been so fun to watch. It really has. I was raised to be someone that didn't like the Chiefs, and I'll hold to that. No matter where Patrick Mahomes goes, I would watch him play, just based on the premise that the dude could just make it happen. But I don't know what's missing this year. The only thing I can think of, obviously defense is atrocious. The fact that Sorensen even still has a contract to play professional football is beyond me. If anybody follows the Chiefs, you know what I'm talking about. Eric Sorensen is just, it seems like one game after another, he's giving up a big play. He's getting burned. He's giving up a touchdown. He's, missing his coverage, giving up big plays there. And then for whatever reason, I don't know if it's necessarily Mahomes or if it is what? No. I don't know if it's for whatever reason. It's one of those deals where, maybe Mahomes isn't getting comfortable. Maybe the offensive line isn't jiving with him. But another thing that Adam just brought up here in the chat, and I actually heard somebody talk about on the radio this morning, listening to ESPN radio, listening to Keyshawn and Jay Will, they kind of brought up the fact that maybe they've just figured Mahomes out. So they know what to do for him now to kind of contain him a little bit. Or maybe it's, the game has evolved and what Mahomes is doing is no longer good. Or maybe they're missing something. Which kind of brings me to my next point. I mean, you've got all these weapons, and really the big thing that I think of immediately is the fact that Sammy Watkins is gone. And boy, what a spot for OBJ to fill. OBJ is no longer with the Browns. He is released, a free agent. All the way through waivers with nobody picking him up. And I do find it very interesting that his contract was, I think, $7.25 a year. And nobody picked him up off waivers. So he is a free agent right now. That is interesting to me that nobody wanted to grab him, but at the same time, he's going to be picky and choosy on where he wants to go. He is a selfish player. He wants the ball a lot. He wants a lot of looks. Is that something that Tyreek Hill would be willing to give up? Because OBJ would fit in good with that system. He could be the other wide receiver that could, really create havoc. Travis Kelce getting hit in the hands 2-3 times last weekend doesn't help either. Hit him right in the hands. You hate to see it. But, OBJ could end up somewhere like that. I don't know. It's kind of funny because somebody sarcastically mentioned the Buccaneers at work, and I don't think that he would go there. You got Evans, you got Antonio Brown, you got Fournette. It's just there's too many guys that want a lot of touches for him to get a lot of touches too. It's going to have to be somewhere he can go and be the guy. Tony, yeah. Does he want a bunch of looks or does his dad? Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Kansas City would be a good fit for him, as much as I hate to say that. And as well, these stinking Bears come back, had a hell of a game, had the lead. It was an absolute disaster at halftime. I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm gonna go play some video games. I'll come back and finish the rest of the game. And I laid down in bed and went to turn the game on and didn't even get a chance to turn the game on. I fell asleep. So I was like, dang it. Thinking like, the game will be over. I always try and watch even though they're getting blown out. The one game I fall asleep, Fields goes off, the defense starts rolling a little bit, and they took the freaking lead, and then, Pittsburgh ends up kicking a field goal to win the game. But it's like, man, that's so frustrating, falling asleep for stuff like that. But I don't know what's going to happen with the Bears, man. You can blame it on the head coach. You can blame it on this. You can blame it on that. Fields was not ready either. I will say that. But he didn't get a choice, really. He kind of got thrown to the wolves and was like, here you go. Figure it out. And he does have times where it looks like he's going to be good. But here's the kicker with saying things like I just said is, how many times did we say that about Mitchell Trubisky? How many times did we say that about, Cutler when he first got to town? Cutler, it pains me to say, but Cutler is the best quarterback we've had in years. Rex freaking Grossman took us to the Super Bowl. That should say something about the rest of your team. Oy vey. What? Yeah, she over here told me Barrett's at a very emotional spot. Well, you're absolutely right, it does. But yeah, you know, the Packers. My wife says the Packers are hitting a very emotional spot for her. You know, when the news came out that Rodgers had COVID, I'm not even going to get into Rodgers and his vaccination status and all that other hoopla. I don't care. That's his deal. I don't care. I just don't care. Do you want a headset? Uh-oh. I'm just gonna try. We're gonna dive down a road we don't need to be diving down. I can already sense it coming. No. It's not gonna get political or anything else. It just, this conversation always goes the same way. We're always on the same page, but it always goes. So, yeah. So my wife is mad that she's a Rodgers fan. She's a football fan. She's mad that he lied. I mean, whatever, dude. I'm not even gonna sit here and talk about the fact that he lied. My biggest thing that gets me with that whole deal, it's kind of funny, really, because, you know, I work with a bunch of Chiefs fans. So dude comes running in, he says, "Hey," he said, "did you hear about Rodgers?" And I'm thinking, I've been saying it for months. I said, I hope he stubs his toe on a coffee table. So dude comes running in, he's like, "Hey, did you hear about Rodgers?" I said, "Did he finally stub his toe on a coffee table?" He just goes, "No, he's got COVID." I was like, "God damn, that actually kind of sucks. Like, I don't want to see anybody with COVID, but at least he's not playing now." Like, I found myself like cheering for the Chiefs for the first time in just about my entire life. I still feel weird about it. I don't feel good. And Mitchell Rowling wasn't cheering for the Packers either. He had his shirt buttoned up. He had a Packers shirt on. He had a flannel shirt on over the top of it. Enough about football. I'm boring you guys to death. All four of you tonight. You're real full house here. So, back on the topic of softball. I've ranted about football for long enough. So we talked last week about, Tony, I knew you were in here, and I know you were getting ready to say something about the Packers, and I'm not here for that. Why don't you go see if your Facebook account is under control yet? So anyway, back on topic. I'm done talking about football for real this time. Last week we kind of talked about it and brushed over a little bit on maybe diving into the realm of senior bats a little bit. And I don't hate that for a couple different reasons. One, senior bats are really freaking fun to swing. And two, it does seem that I do have a little bit of an older crowd here. What? I'm just... You're about to get a headset whether you want one or not. So it does seem like I have more senior players in the crowd that do enjoy the senior reviews. So I kind of want to do it for that. They're really fun to swing, and it's just kind of a chance to broaden the spectrum a little bit, just to experience a little bit more of stuff. I don't hate the idea, but I think I need to draw like some guidelines as far as what senior bats. So in the past, there haven't been very many senior bats out there. About the last 2 or 3 years, it seems like the senior bat market has really taken off. You had Adidas, which is now Suncoast. You've got Dudley, Worth, and Mike, and have always made senior bats, but now they're really getting into the senior bat game as well. Easton's been dabbling in it. Then you got Onyx. Then you've got Pure with the Fast Teddy. I think they've made a couple others as well. There's companies I can't even think of right now. Anarchy's another one. They're making senior bats as well. So there's lots of opportunities to... DeMarini is another one. There's lots of opportunities to get senior bat reviews in. But I've got to find a decent balance here. One thing, for the last 2 years, I've been telling myself here a little bit. One thing for the last 2 years that I do feel like I need to get better with, and I know that I'm going to get some agreements here, is getting more ASA reviews. But I've got to figure out, aside from swinging every Monster and Anarchy that gets released, I've got to figure out how to get a variety of ASA stuff. Thinking, I've got to figure out how to get a variety of ASA stuff that's going to be something you guys want to watch. Like, sometimes when I do these bat reviews, like, I'm eating money on this stuff. You know, if things don't work out to where a product can't be passed off to be reviewed, then that kind of ties my hands a little bit, because anything I review, I've got to buy. Yes, subscribers are a huge help. They have been for a long time now. But there is certain things out there that, like, you don't get a chance to, you know, get your hands on via a subscriber, or it's going to sell out fast enough, or it's going to be popular enough that, like, you need to get a review on it, like, then and there, like, get it on the way that day. And sometimes that works out, and then other times, like, I'm eating money. Just is an example, like the DB, the Dale Brungart you saw on the channel. I mean, I lost, I think final tally ended up being, I lost almost $70 on that. Y'all be breaking the BP Hero. What are you looking at me like that for? BP Hero losing money. You still got your fritzy little coffees and... You can fold your laundry somewhere else. So it does kind of stink to spend money on stuff and take that big of a loss, because, like, it's hard. The resale is hard between seniors and ASA. The resale is really tough, and especially being if it's an ASA bat that nobody wants, you know. That's kind of what I've ran into. So I've got to figure out what, like, the interesting ASA bats are. Things that you guys want to see. I can post polls and I can make posts and that kind of thing. Is the time comes, so we can try and get a little bit more of that, just to see what you guys want to see. But I do want to prioritize, like, certain bats that I want to review. I wanted to get more of the Worth and Mikan stuff in. It seems like you guys like to see the ASA stuff on that side of things, because, like, I can look at all kinds of analytics and numbers that would just make your head spin. So I can look at that stuff and get a general idea, but feedback is always appreciated as well. Grumpy Snack says, dibs on the Mach 1. I think it's gone. Brent needs to follow up with me so I can figure out what's going on with that. I tooted. So, and that's to be said as well when it comes to U-Trip stuff. There's so many U-Trip bats. Like, I can't get to them all. And I know I've got a lot of people, you know, asking about this bat or that bat, or are you going to review this? Are you going to review that? Or, you know, the Anarchy this, East and that, Mikan, Worth, Onyx. This list goes on and on and on. I do want to try and review a little bit of everything brand-wise next year. It may not be stuff that people want to see. It's kind of weird, but I personally want to swing more brands next year. So it's prioritizing that and finding a way to make it work. It's going to work for me, and it's going to work for you guys. And one other thing, I spoke of them earlier. He who must not be named. I guess we've kind of moved past that point since we are posting them on the channel now. The torch review will be up next after the review that I finished tonight. So I did see, interestingly enough, that it looks like Monster is not necessarily selling out, but there is going to be a changing of hands with their CEO. Someone sent me a screenshot, and it says basically in January of 2023, person to be named, or I don't know, Jeremy Gilroy, I think is how you say this name, will take over as the CEO of Monster Athletics. And it just goes on to say that the guys that are part of the ownership sharing now will still be there in all their responsibilities and be with the company. And I find that interesting. I mean, good for him. Maybe he has accomplished what he needed to monetarily. maybe he realized he's in over his head. Maybe he wants to pursue something else. I mean, honestly, hats off to the guy for no matter how he ran his company. Okay, yeah, okay. I knew that's why that name sounded familiar, Adam. So Adam just confirmed that is the All-American Athletics owner. And I'm sure that Carr's still going to have his say in the company and be somewhat of a shareholder. I would guess. That's just a complete guess. But it's hard to tell. But no matter my thoughts on the guy or how he's ran his company or anything else, I mean, congrats to the guy. He started a company, created an empire, you might say, and cashed out. You know, I mean, that's kind of the American dream, right? So, you know, kudos to him. Congratulations on that, and you know, whatever moves forward from there. Maybe he'll go out and start another bat company. Who freaking knows? But I did also see someone sent me that they are going to be releasing a USSSA 240 bat. The time has come. They will be releasing a U-Trip bat. I know they've been back and forth on that for a few years now. And again, speaking with brand diversity, that is genuinely and honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but that is something I want to put on the list. It's different. It's new. It's something that we haven't swung before. It's something we don't know what to expect. Is it going to take 1,000 swings to break in? Is it going to break in 10 swings? There's nobody knows. It'll be interesting to see. I'm here for it. We'll see where it goes. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let me see. I need to look up a couple other things too. Adam, what are you talking about with the umpire hip check scandal? What exactly are you referring to there, my friend? I guess I must have missed that over the weekend. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were... I did see that. I did see the clips of that. I was thinking something completely different. You said umpire and like... My mind was somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was a couple of questionable calls that could have went either way. Like the taunting call. I thought the taunting call was A, kind of crap. But B, like, dude, don't do that. If you know they're throwing flags for everything under the sun, don't give them a chance. You know? I feel like that should be like logic more than anything, right? And like, I get being pumped up, I get being in the moment, I get all that stuff, trust me. But I don't know. It was a crap flag, honestly and personally, I feel, but it was also a crap decision for him to go around strutting like he was big stuff. In conference news, we did also see that MPT Rentals has announced that they are going to go and partner up with Dan Smith for the 2022 Conference USSSA season. Dan Smith be out there getting it in with anybody who wants to get it in. I mean, congratulations to the guy and the squad and everything else. I don't know what to think about conference softball these days. You can't call it brand loyalty, but like sponsor loyalty seems to be... what's the word I'm looking for? Sponsor loyalty seems to be something that's unheard of. You don't see many sponsors sticking with a team for more than a year or two, it seems like, as far as like on the major side of things. And, you know, that's also coming from a guy that really has no, I'll never be at that level. I'll never understand it. And I'll never have the money to put a team in that situation. So I'm sure there's a lot that I don't see and a lot that we don't see, but I find it interesting, and it makes you really curious, like, as to what goes on, that there's so many people bouncing and jumping around sponsors. I mean, for years, it used to be like you could know, okay, you know, this team's going to have this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy on it, and they're going to swing these bats, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do that, and they're going to play this tournament and that tournament. You could do that for, you know, several of the upper-level teams, but now it's everybody's jumping and bouncing around and carrying on, and I'm sure money has a lot to do with players bouncing around. I mean, you know, if you're given the opportunity to make money to play softball, you'd be kind of crazy to not put yourself in that situation, as long as it's in you and your family's best interest. So there is a lot, you know, that money has to do with that stuff, but at the same time, loyalty should get you somewhere, right? You would think. I don't know. Who does? But I did go and play, speaking of softball, we went and played in the Unlimited tournament I spoke of last weekend. It was a suicide awareness prevention tournament. There in O'Fallon, in O'Fallon, Missouri. St. Peter's, O'Fallon, somewhere around in that area. And I do believe it is O'Fallon, Missouri. They're at Ozzy's. And what a day it was. I hit like one tape measure shot, and then the rest were just like little fence scrapers. I hit one from what I feel like was the top of my shoestrings, and I can thank that to all the golf I've been playing lately. But we had a good time there. We did get probably the toughest pool there, and ended up getting thrown into the upper division just based on our run differential. So there was two good teams, a decent team, and then a team that was just kind of looked like some league guys. And when it all shook down, basically we got stuck in the, what you might call the wild card of the upper division, and lost to Fallen Heroes. And those guys hit. Those guys that hit. If you're familiar with kind of like the D softball scene in St. Louis, you've seen those guys around, and you know they hit. Defensively, they're usually fundamentally sound, but they just base hit you to death, and they did. I think they hit 3 balls off the chalk in a 4-inning game, and you usually see that like once a year, and they did it 3 times in one freaking game. What do you do about that? It's interesting as a pitcher, you're getting just like shellacked and getting dealt with, and it's hard to mix things up thrown from behind the screen, you know. I don't feel like there was pitchers that are faking and doing that kind of thing, because technically it is a U-Trip tournament, but I feel like that's a little bit over the line, given the fact that it's like just a fundraiser tournament. Everybody's kind of there to have fun, and 99% of the other pitchers there are not pump faking and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The only thing I really did to get adventurous was there would be a couple times the pitching screen would be up about 5 feet in front of the rubber, and I would drop back off the back of the rubber and throw a pitch over the screen instead of around the screen, reaching around the screen. And for a couple innings of a game, I was basically throwing to where my release point would be right next to the side of the screen, just kind of let the screen literally screen the ball out of my hand. Just something different. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still coming out of your hand. But I tried everything with those guys. It's frustrating being a pitcher and being in a situation where it's like you throw it high, you throw it flat. You throw it inside, you throw it outside. You mix it up, you mix, you try different stuff. And they just constantly hit. It's frustrating. And I've definitely been part of those teams that can't miss, and I've been on the receiving end of that stuff as well. We just have to be on the receiving end on that day. We had a lot of good hitters. We had a great time. And I can't wait to play with those guys again sometime soon, I'm sure. But yeah, if anybody's got questions, comments, anything like that, I say questions, comments, questions or topics or anything, drop them in the chat here. I know there's only 6 of you in here, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. We have been consumed with junior high basketball in this house, and I have not had time to sit and prep. Everything that I wanted to talk about, I've gotten out. So if nobody has anything really, then we're kind of going to be lame and probably cut her a little bit short. Because we got another one tomorrow, and then practice on Friday, and then a tournament starts next week. It's good to be busy, but at the same time, it's like, oi, can I catch a break? And this is kind of the stuff that I was worried about going from days to nights nights to days, is running into scheduling conflicts like this. No matter what night of podcast, I'm going to run into them in some capacity. But I do know we're talking about picking up a bowling league, and I got to make sure that's not on a Wednesday. I already told them. I was like, the podcast comes first. All 6 of you guys, you're important to me. If the moon was made of ribs, would I eat it? Here's one for you. If a duck only had one leg, would it swim in a circle? If the moon was made of spare ribs, I wouldn't eat the whole thing, but I'd go have a snack or two. But the question is everybody else having a snack too? Because we got to have the moon for like gravity and shit, right? So if like the moon is like still doing the moon stuff, then I'm probably gonna leave it alone, because like I like gravity and stuff. It keeps me close to the ground. So if more than one person's gonna go up there snacking on it, then I'm probably just gonna let them have it. And a question that was asked at work: if a vegetarian becomes a zombie, does it just go eat more vegetables, or does it eat people? There's one for you, Snacks. I know you're driving. Where are you going, by the way? You didn't tell me you were going anywhere. Tony says, have I heard about Gene and his bat buying experience post? I have not. I mean, like I said, I've been busy with basketball and work. I haven't had a ton of time to get caught up with anything, or stay caught up, or sit down and prepare for anything. I always hate when I sit down with like not a whole lot to talk about on the podcast, and that's kind of one of these nights. I've had a couple of these nights now that like basketball's really getting going. Like last year, he had 5th and 6th grade basketball, and it was like, yeah, they're like playing to win the game and keeping score and stuff, but it was like they would practice until the first game, and then basically it's just games from there out. You might practice once or twice, but I mean, this is legitimate junior high basketball this year, so I mean, it's practice every night. You don't have a game, just like normal stuff. So it's been a bit of an adjustment. Like my son's like, waiting for a night where there's like nothing going on. I'm like, bro, me too. But it's good for him. Keeps him busy. There's only 7 kids on the team. He goes to a rather small school, so there's only 7 kids on the team. So there's plenty of playing experiences, plenty of learning experiences. And they've got a couple of really good coaches and a couple of really good players. So it's a chance for the kids to kind of pick up from the older, better players. And the coach has coached a couple of those players for a long time. So he can reach the kids pretty easily because everybody's kind of familiar with each other. So it's kind of cool. I hope to one day be that guy in softball, be the guy that can reach a lot of people. Like I'm just about to the point in softball for me. I feel like I know I'm just gonna sit here and rant. I'm just gonna tell you now. It's probably gonna end up with me just sitting here ranting for another few minutes, and then we're just gonna call it a podcast. So if you want to sit and listen to me rant, you can. If not, thanks for stopping in, checking it out. Swing on case you hit it, BP Hero. Catch you next time. But I am gonna just not even rant, just blab for a minute. I do think I'm just about to the point in my softball career where I want to kind of pursue like being actually competitive with the softball side of things. I've always played, I've always, competed, no matter which level it's been. I always go out and compete. It's not like I'm out there jacking around, but like, I want to make a serious attempt, and I'm not saying like go conference or anything like that. I'm not crazy. I don't expect that, but I want to make a legitimate attempt at, playing to get to the next level, or playing to, be on, one of the good teams, and play late into Saturday on the good teams, and like take that side of softball seriously. I'm hoping things are going to come together, and that's going to work out. It sounds like it's going to, but I'm just about to that point where I just want to compete. I want to show up and compete. Yes, I'm still going to have fun. That's like the number one thing. If you're not having fun, you don't want to be there. But the ultimate goal is to compete, because I've shown up at the ballpark many a times on a Saturday thinking, what the hell? If we go 2-2, I'm fine. But I'm to the point now that like it's go time. I want to play. I want to compete. I want to grind. And I want to be the guy that can take some of these young kids under his shoulder, you might say, and just like spread some experience around. Maybe take one or two what you might call veteran players and start something up, Show these young kids the way. And I'm going to tell you something. I've seen it firsthand, personally, and I've seen it with other players, local players, and everything else. You can grind, and you can practice, and you can take ground balls, and you can take BP. But until you get in games, even go play league, but like until you get in certain game situations, you just don't learn. And there's people that just instinctively know the right things to do. But then there's also situations where your veterans kind of like lead the way. They show you what to do. Hey, do this instead of that. Or, when adversity strikes, everybody kind of looks around. It's like, oh, what do we do now? It's like, the vets are here. You play with people that are better than you. You play with people that are at that next level, and it makes you better too. You see and you learn new things. You learn the things to do. You learn the way to carry themselves. You see the situations they put themselves in. You see the certain type of swings they take. You see the certain ways they approach a defensive situation. It might be something that's like making you think, damn, I never thought of that. Or, hey, I've never seen that before. That's interesting. Let me try that. You apply that to your game, you become a better player. I'm all for, I'm not saying you can't go out and grind on your own and get better, but I'm all for surrounding yourself with as many better players as you can and giving yourself a chance to learn in that regard, because I promise you will. 100% promise you will. And if I ask some of those people, I don't like naming a ton of names on these podcasts, but if I ask those people, hey, what do you think helped take you to the next level? A lot of them are going to say, being there and doing it, and seeing others being there and doing it, and seeing how they handle themselves as well. I kind of think I want to be that guy and go out and compete, but I don't know. We'll see, right? It's a short one again tonight. I'm going to do better on getting topics and subjects and everything else. Maybe a guest. Hint, hint, snacks. But that's going to do it for the podcast. Thanks for stopping in and checking it out. Sweetheart, in case you hit it, BP Hero. We'll catch you next time.